Hey everybody, you know what time it is. I know what time it is. We all know what time it is. It is time for Syntext Live. I hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully my audio is actually working because the system is looking kind of weird. And we're going to hold on a second, about maybe 10 more seconds for everybody to click the skip button on those wonderful commercials that seem to happen every time we start one of these live streams. So, and right about there. So everybody should be in. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. And right now we got everything lined up with all sorts of notes. And just before we start, I want to let you guys know, yes, I did print out all your stuff. It's sitting right there on the printer. I can grab it if you guys need proof that I did print out all the stuff. Like Demon, you sent your stuff. Guardian Sage sent his, and a whole bunch of other things like that. So before we get started, make sure you pop a top. Oh, got 2 points that time. And we will get ready to begin. I got to have this. Always got to have a drink nearby, especially when you're starting doing narration, because, oh my God, you guys, you're lucky you don't hear the outtakes. It'd be mostly me coughing. So, okay, I just got foam up the nose. Give me a second. Woo. All right, back onto the notes, and we got a few for today, and these are coming in from the comment section that everybody sent, and they're actually pretty good. Apparently, you guys like the series. The Galactic War Games is done for a couple of months until we get to the next War Games. I got a few things to figure out because I kind of screwed up this one just a little bit. This last one, I do apologize for that. It's actually out of order. It was supposed to be in a different order, and it was supposed to start with the P-38s and the Mosquitoes doing their thing, and it was supposed to work up from there. I got the first two switched, and I don't know why I did that. It just happened, so oops. And I've got to make sure I don't do that again. As for what's going to be happening on the next Galactic War Games, well, you're just going to have to stop and find out. And you know we don't do spoilers around here. Spoilers don't work. But apparently you guys really like the jokes. I tried to ham that up just a little bit more just because you guys seem to like it on the last one, especially when somebody gets jammed. Wait a minute. Raspberry. There's only one that jams with raspberry. Yeah. Somebody in the comment section actually did pick up on that one. I was trying to be subtle, but there's only so many subtle ways you can do. And holy shit, hold on, wait, hold on. Let me grab a pen here. I got to hold on. You guys are starting early tonight. We got the Sir with a $50 super sticker and no comment today, which is surprising. I actually got a few others that sent in. You guys are going to be getting your... If you haven't noticed already, everybody gets their stuff throughout the week. Every time I get a video done, it's going to be at the end. I'm just going to do everybody. Trying to do this onesie, twosie at a time. Just didn't work, folks. It did not work. And it works out better if everybody who sends in, like Sir, and I do greatly appreciate everything you send. I'm not begging for money, but I'm not turning it down either. That's for fucking sure. Anyway, let me top off on my drink here because for some reason I got a bunch of phlegm moving up. All right. Once again, thank you, Sir. And back over to the notes. There was a little confusion in the comment section on which craft I was using. Not witchcraft as in powers, but which aircraft I was using in there. And somebody said I was using the F-117 Blackbird. That is not a bomber. That is not a fighter. That is a reconnaissance craft. Okay, I've never, ever heard of weapons being put on that thing. It doesn't even carry flares. The thing is just unbelievably quick. If they were just doing a reconnaissance mission, that'd be one thing. I would have been glad to use that. Actually, there was a couple aircraft, and you guys brought them up. I'm going to be talking about these that I wanted to use and I couldn't. Okay, the Sky Warden. Those of you who don't know, that's the SF's overly complicated crop duster. The reason I didn't put that in with the props is because the reason we used World War II aircraft is because too much electromagnetic interference would fry all the electronics on anything built from like the 1960s onward. And obviously the Sky Warden is just packed with electronic equipment. No matter how I twisted that, it would not work. For you to put that much protection to cover all that equipment, it wouldn't get off the ground. It was too heavy. No matter how much I crunched the numbers, it wouldn't go. The amount of shielding you would need to totally surround the craft so that everything worked and there wasn't a leak of interference going up. It just didn't work. Didn't work. I like that. Also, for my European friends out there, I was going to use the Gripen, okay? However, when it comes down to straight up close air-to-air combat, it's really hard to beat the F-22. Actually, there's no aircraft here on this planet right now that can actually fight against the F-22 in a dogfight and win unless the F-22 pilot is suddenly having a freaking conniption fit. So that's why I use the F-22. And everybody is using the F-35s, okay? I believe it's either the A or the C model that is actually VTOL capable. I'm not sure which one. I don't think all of them are, but you do have them. But yeah, guys, I'm not just focusing on American craft. Again, I use the Mossy because it was the greatest bomber of that time. They just need to go in and just touch anything. They didn't actually have to destroy anything. You get something that can fly in, drop the bombs, get some deep penetration in there, which, by the way, yes, the jokes were there for a reason when I used the freaking B1 regional, which is the giant freedom boner. If you don't know where I got that, go watch Fat Electrician. He really hams that up. Actually, I've seen the outtakes when he did that one. He couldn't actually finish that line a few times without cracking up. And honestly, I started cracking up too. But yeah, I was going to use even more craft. And I was looking at the Japanese Zero for the prop as well, along with the BF-109s. They didn't fit because I needed dual engine craft, period. We needed something that had incredible, or the speed, yes, and the maneuverability, yes, but they had to be able to just go fast, and you don't get much faster than that. I mean, you put the Merlin in the Mossy, and that thing flies. All right. It was brought up that we're going to talk to our sponsors, and then suddenly it cut to the actual, like, there's an ad that come in. That was the first time, this is probably the only time that I'm going to be using those is when I do the Galactic War Games. You notice I didn't use in all of them. I just had certain parts that just fit perfectly for that. And honestly, I wanted to see if it worked. And you guys, you told me it did, so it did. But don't get used to those cuts in the middle. I don't plan on making it a common practice. However, I won't mention who, but you know who you are. He thought it'd be funny if I made a fake product for the promotion. What am I going to do? Do butt grease or something? What's going on? Because, I mean, yeah, it'd be a fun name, but I mean, you guys seem to like the names of the different species out there. I believe one of them was called the Titty Flicks or something like that. Or no, Titty Squeeze. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I actually thought that would be hilarious, and I didn't think it would work, but it landed. All right. On the next point, yes, that was the Iron Dome defenses. So those of you who figured it out, congratulations. And of course, the whole when they were using a type of dirigible, they're using helium instead of hydrogen because nobody's that stupid. Honestly, when I look into the airships before Tartaria was actually erased from the maps, they were using helium. They didn't like hydrogen because they knew how volatile it was. That big Hinden Tannic that destroyed, that was one of the few that actually had hydrogen. They didn't like it, which was smart. On to the next one. You guys are all talking about what should be done for the next Galactic War Games. Should it be space? Should it be the oceans? Should it be under the oceans? Should it be deep in space? Should they be bouncing around all sorts of areas? You're just going to have to wait and see. I've already got a couple of notes tacking on different areas, and you're just going to have to wait and see on that. Somebody brought up the fact that humanity could have brought aircraft carriers. It didn't fit in the story. Pure and simple. I wanted to. I truly did because, and the sir, you would have been really, really interested in that because there would be a certain name I would have used. Not going to say which one. And yeah. You guys know, hey, whenever I do the sir thing, I always put the aircraft carrier up. Holy. Oh, okay. I got, hold on, folks. We got to wait a second because we got another $50 super. This time's a super chat from Sir. He said, could you use the US or the SS Antietam to honor my father passed away? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I was using before, and I'm going to use it again. Okay. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. I have it somewhere else, but yeah, absolutely. I have no problem giving a salute to our priors, those who came before us. And, you know, they fought at a time where you got up close and personal, and it's respect on that very much. But yes, I will be using it. Let me write SS on that. But yeah, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I will use that. Let's see. We also have a $5 super chat from MTF Guard. He says, keep up the joke, since after catching this baseball joke, I had the urge to watch the movie afterward. I think he means Spaceballs, but yes. I have a copy myself of Spaceballs. Yes, there goes the planet. But holy crap, you guys are being way over the top tonight. Let me write down yours there, Guard, before I forget. I still a little peeved that somebody sent me last week. He sent a super attached to one of the other videos, and my dumbass forgot to write it down, and I couldn't give him a shout out because I didn't write it down. I didn't memorize the name, and I feel like just the biggest turbo asshole on that because, you know, whoever supports the channel, you get your shout out. It's just that simple. All right. Again, thank you both. Thank you both very much. And sir, definitely, I will get that. I will get the best pictures I can. If I can, I will get the space version of the Antietam. I don't think there is one, though. I think the only time they did aircraft carriers in space was Macross, where they attached them to the side of the battleship. Why did everything in that show transform? Anyways, where was I? But yes, aircraft carriers, again, they didn't fit. I would have liked to actually get aircraft carriers to fit in the story, but they just didn't work. Why? Because everybody else was using bases all the way around, and it would have been just kind of silly. And hold on, we got a $5 super chat from the Black Trapper. Is that like Trapper John? Are you a medic there, Trapper? Goddamn. 2 P's. Okay. And he says, are we going to be getting more one-shots of the whole vet moves to Boondock Nowhere deal? Absolutely love the last 2 or 3. Usually those are standalone ones. There's a few. I can, in particular, the one that's a man who's outstanding in his field. If I remember correct, because some of these I got to go back. And when I get to what's coming up on, hold on, let me write that down. When I get to what's coming up on the channel, I'll get more into that Trapper. But let me get actually through the notes here. So I don't miss anything. This is why I write everything down. I'm actually looking in front of me too. I actually have my journal in front of me that I fill out every day so that I can make sure I don't skip something. Speaking of skipping things, I have to hold up and I have to wait a second because we got a $10 super sticker this time. A $10 one from SS Demon. He's got he doesn't have anything in there except for a fox doing this. Yay! He's a cheering. Is that the closest you get to a Kitsune there, Demon? You guys are definitely on it. Appreciate that. Definitely. And by the way, you guys are going to get more of the whole during the end of the videos, I'm going to be using that dog going, who's awesome? You're awesome. You guys are awesome, because without you, this channel wouldn't exist, period. Without the fans, what's the point of making the channel? You guys keep it going. Unfortunately, there's not anything dropping tonight, simply because I've been helping my dad all day and I haven't been able to actually sit down and do anything. But we'll be talking about what's coming up. So, and before I get totally lost, you guys are really going. Okay, we got another $5 super chat. Okay, sorry, I had to pop my neck for a second. From Erica Gem, and she's being so outrageous that she says, thank you for all you do. By the way, Erica, did you get to see the end of the last one that you got your shout out? I think not the very last one, but the one before it. I stopped using the gem because I think I was overusing it. So you got a little something else, people can throw in the chat there if they know who it was, or if you know who it is, go ahead and put it in there. And again, thank you so much for helping out. Yeah, no kidding, Guard. I see that. Oh no, there's another one, Erica. There's another one. You missed this. Yeah. Anyways, let me get back to this again. Thank you guys so much for definitely help me out here. Let me back down here. Back up. Beep beep beep. Okay. And hold on. Okay, where was I? Here we go. Some of the comments you guys send, it took me a second to understand this, but I have to just say it. There was a quick comment about the F-22 where it says, would you intercept me? I would intercept me. And it took me a second to understand where the reference was. And I'm like, dude, seriously? That's a double reference, actually. And I actually thank you for that, because it actually leads into the next one, is because I did a double reference I didn't think people would get. And this is, it's been out for a few days, so I'm not spoiling anything, I don't think. You know what? I don't want to say too much anymore. Hopefully, well, let's just say if you've ever seen the show Archer, I kind of referenced on that one too, at the same time, a movie. And yeah. So just in case people haven't heard it, I didn't want to, I didn't want to actually throw it out there, because you guys know I hate spoilers, and I'm already tapping on the side here. Let's see. After all the funny stuff that I did, I thought I would tone it down with that story with Hank. And apparently I hit a couple of nerves in a good way. But yeah, that was kind of a hat tip over to the whole 9/11 thing. If you guys didn't catch that, because the space station that just was destroyed was the double spike, or however I name that. And they used their own humans' own shuttles to destroy it. But yeah, it was that was, considering the day, I kind of had to do it, folks. I just had to. All right, on to this next one. And as this is going to be talking a little bit about what Trapper was talking about, adding on to different stories that are out there. I had a request, and the very next one that's coming out is a add-on to the story I did way back in the day. It's one of the very first ones. I think it's like the second video on here, called Stray. It's one of the first ones because I'm not very fluent in my speaking, and it was just, I was getting my feet under me, folks. So don't kill me in the comments on that. By all means, drop a comment. But okay, let's hold on and wait a second, because I see another $5 super chat from Trapper, and he says, can we get human commentator character that's basically the fat electrician? Ooh, see, unfortunately, I'm not quite as good as he is. I try. God help me, I try. But he comes up with stuff, and I'm about ready to crap myself, because, I mean, when he did the whole thing about the chair in the hotel room on that joke, I was just like, dude, Wow. Yeah. I can't even think about copying that one because that was just out there. I will try to hit more of the jokes, provided it's not a super serious type of story. FYI, if you listen to Stray can definitely turn into something that's either uber serious or just fun. And I'm trying to lean it towards just fun. But don't worry, it's got some serious parts. So, but that's what's coming up next. And also, like I promised, not only Stray, but also Crunchy on the Outside. That one has to be extended. I've had a lot of people ask for that one. So, yeah, you're going to get a bunch of the folks of, single person out there in the middle of nowhere or just the extension of the story. Can I add on to, I'm just going to put out on this one, Outstanding in the Field, because that sounds like in field. Like something you would actually be looking into there, Trapper. It is what it is. That one's actually was meant to be creepy, by the way. But it sounds like it's right up your alley. All right. Whew. All right. Whew, you guys have been keeping me busy all night because it's been a really good night so far. Again, who's awesome? You guys are awesome because you are keeping the channel alive. You are definitely keeping the channel alive. And I actually said, fuck the other job because I'd rather be here doing this, getting content for you guys. So that's the end of my notes right now. All these very, very long notes right here. And but like I said, folks, oh shit! Oh, I thought I just spilled something. I'm sorry. Oh man, that was a fright. Okay, 1 second. Let me grab this. All right. Just for those who didn't think I was actually telling the truth, we got. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to put your actual name out there, but we got the Battle for Sir. Came in through the mail. We got. Let's see. Guardian Sage stuff. Let me actually cover your name here. Yep, we got Guardian Sage. I printed that off. I got all your stuff here, Demon, with your drone fleet. So I do go through my emails, folks. That was a big to-do last week. I do go through this, and I got to actually sit here with this stuff like spread across my desk so I can actually make sure everything is set up. Because, you gave me a whole list of ships here to go through. And the things I got to touch on every single one of them. That's what makes it such a big project. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be interesting, but it's going to slow me down. And like I said before, you get a lot of people going, oh, you work from home. You can help me out. Right. Oh, fuck. All right. Let me put that over there. All right. Let's go into the comment section, and we're going to see what's up with everybody as I see this extremely multicolored chat box. And again, thank you so much, everybody. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. All right, let's see. Starting off here, looks like everybody is just greeting everybody. War Sniper, I saw the email. Unfortunately, that one I didn't get to dig in too much. Actually, with the Kitsunes and Dragon, I'm gonna have to go through that again. I'm not sure I got it. In the description down there at the Meat Gazer, I saw you look. You follow my finger there. No, the email's actually in there. If you want to double check, make sure that you actually have the right email. It should be copy and paste, just to make sure it gets to me. I will make sure I get it. Let's see. Chris is saying, still unpacking, but need more cowbell. Why not? And we got a few folks saying, Lone Star. Yeah, that was kind of the joke on that. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to the Sarge here. Oh yeah, War Sniper saying, I like the reference. It's with the F-22 telling the Xenos to go home. I love that, and I do actually thank the Fat Electrician for helping me out on that one. I had totally forgot about that until I watched his video, And because of that, I wanted to go over the whole thing that it was Sun Tzu, actually. I almost said Musashi, but it's Sun Tzu who actually said ultimate mastery on the battlefield, ultimate victory on the battlefield is not winning every battle. Ultimate victory on the battlefield is winning without fighting. I'm probably butchering the hell out of that, but that's pretty much it is. And there's Erica going, Pizza the Hut. Yeah. I can't eat there anymore. The stuff just wrecks my stomach. I don't know what it is. I know it's not actual cheese, that's for sure. Demon saying how he worked there for 12 years. Never again. Dude, I worked at Burger King for like 4 years. I feel your pain. I don't feel as much pain, but trust me. Travis says, woo, that was my thought. Okay, makes sense. Let's see. Eric is saying, oh, okay. He's talking to Demon here. Went out to apply. I heard the manager yelling and cussing out a young kid. And then Erica went, nope. Yeah. Hey, just like one of the Xenos. Nope, we're done. Bye. And yes, by the way, if you didn't get the reference in there, yes, he was trying to watch the birdie as they inverted over top of the craft and basically said hello. Why are they saying they're number one? He wasn't. He was saying watch the bird. Yeah. Very public. Okay. Demon saying I was a RGM my last 3 years. I took care of my team. Some of them still keep in touch. Miss Milan. Okay. Yeah. It was the people above me that made me quit. My last 8 months was running 4 stores, 120 hours a week. That's almost all the hours in the week. Actually, no. That is all the hours in the week. Okay. I don't know how you went 8 months without sleeping, but okay. See, Demon says, not everybody can handle that job. It's not easy. And even those that can have bad days. Yeah, absolutely right. Look, when I was I was in Korea, they had me in charge of the company store, the arms room, lead training NCO. Plus I had to go out and do all the grunt work with everybody else. You can't keep that up. Plus I was bus monitor every weekend or courtesy patrol. So I had no weekends. It's seriously a couple months of that. And you're ready to just say, screw it and start shooting people. And I'm talking about your own people. It's just freaking nuts. Black Tapper going, wait, did you just make a Tartaria reference? Yes, I did. If you actually watch Barry Stepp, he runs a very interesting set of videos. It's not something you can listen to. You actually have to view it. But he does good videos, and he talks about Tartaria a lot. And, yeah, as I start to wonder because there's so much evidence. It's starting to hurt my brain. Like the shackles are snapping off in there or something. Let's see. War Sniper saying Hindenburg disaster of the airship. Yes, it was. Oh, the humanity. Actually, that was where that comes from. For those who don't know, that was the first time. It's the humanity. As everybody was burning on the ground. Leonid says Hindenburg airship was the first one that was filmed on camera. It was like saying that using steam locomotives just because they use boilers and not internal combustion engines. Well, the thing is, now I can't officially prove this, but supposedly the airships actually ran on a type of battery that ran off ether generators where they attached. If you look at a lot of the buildings that they attach to, they still have the spikes that stick up, but some of the internal components are gone. The thing is, ether reactor or 0-point generator, all these fun stuff is pretty much boils down into the same pot, is all something that we can get our hands on. The issue being it's illegal to do so. It's actually a felony to build these things, which is absolutely ridiculous. Some guy in Zimbabwe figured out how to make one only about twice the size of my wallet and put it on the back of a TV. TV runs perpetually. And that's important to understand. But if you can't tax it, if you can't charge people for it, they don't want it around. So there you go. That's why honestly, the idea of rich people basically offing 300 or 400 people to push their own agenda and make sure more people become subservient to the stuff that they sell wouldn't surprise me in the fucking slightest. Anyway, Chris Dixon says, no worries. That was me with the 100. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me write that down. Okay. Hey, you're getting yours, Chris. That's... Okay. That was a shout out I was worried about. I'm sorry, man. I totally fucked it up. And don't worry, you're getting yours this week. I hate to miss them. I really do. Like you said, I'm a man of my word. Yeah, I'm sure that was creepy for a few people who are just listening. Okay. Demon says, I was feeling left out. I normally wait until we're at the chat in the live stream. Oh, hey, no worries, man. No worries. Let's see. Erica's saying, yep, you're a lady pool. There's another one in there. Again, you might want to double check. I didn't want to use Gem this week. Let's see. Trapper saying, everyone just keep dropping donations. See how long we can make Sing go super until he gets sick of it. Oh, I'll never get sick of it. My neck will hurt because I do that flip thing. I did that the first time I got one, and I just figured I'd keep going with it. But you know, I'm slightly limber. My back hurts like hell because I was in the gym, but still. Demon says, if I had the money, I would. Don't. Again, I'm never going to ask for money. It's great that you guys are being so generous today. I can't, thank you. Thank you so freaking much. Demon saying, I love Jay and Silent Bob, and I like the guy who does the intercept me thing. Okay, cool. Brian's here saying, okay. That's where Guardian jumped in. Oh, shit. Oh, why is this thing always jump? This thing always jumps. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. Bite Me says, definitely got the 911. A few people definitely did. That one got like super serious. And again, you're not alone, folks. You're not alone. A lot of people feel that way. I'm that way too. And I was in for 20 full years. I mean, it was just, yeah. I don't mind being in a bad situation, but don't lie to get me there. That's all I'm asking is don't lie to me. Guard saying, I wonder if Sin has an Instagram. I do not. I could follow his extra account, but I was banned back in 2024. A very dry and corny Joe Biden joke. Well, that'll do it. It's one of the reasons I don't do Instagram. I can't even remember how bad it was. Well, come on. That's not even low-hanging fruit. He quite literally is the low-hanging fruit, man. Oh, come on, man. That's such an easy target. It's not even funny. Well, it is funny, I'm sure. I'm sure your joke hit the mark. And that's probably why they took it down, because it was funny. You got to remember, lefties cannot handle memes, folks. They can't do it. They don't have a sense of humor. I had mine surgically removed. Somehow it grew back. Okay. Guardians here says, sorry for the delay. I'm working on writing the email I posted last week. What do you think about the contents of my previous email and the links? The links were a little hard to read, just because when I tried to zoom in, something happened with the pixels. It kind of fuzzed out, so I couldn't do that. I had to only open it for a little while. And since a lot of it's handwritten, it was a little bit difficult to get at. But I get the gist of it. Absolutely. Trapper saying, little idea. Hold on. Let me write down the ideas. Okay. Idea. Trust me, there's plenty of ideas in here. I just got so many things backed up right now. It's just kind of crazy. Aliens have landed and are invading, and you saw a story fall in different units as they try to fight humans in different regions of the world, U.S. and the world, and how they're getting wrecked in different ways. Well, who's getting wrecked? basically, hold on. So World War Z with aliens, got it. And the only reason I say that, Trapper, is I don't know if you've actually read the book World War Z, not watch that god awful piece of shit. God, it shouldn't have been made movie. That movie sucked some serious sweaty nutsack. It was bad. Oh my god. You know how many things they actually took from the movie, or sorry, took from the book and put in the movie? Well, they put the title in there, and that was about it. That was seriously about it. Now, one could say that the wall around Jerusalem or Israel, however, no, because in the book, again, not really spoiling anything because it's an awesome book. I have a copy right over there. Uh, there was no letting everybody in type thing. They were letting people in dribs and drabs, taking them in small sections to make sure there wasn't actually any infected because they didn't know it spread so fast. At least in the book, it didn't spread that fast. But I'm just sitting there like, the book is awesome. And the book does exactly what you're saying here, Trapper. It goes to different folks, about a dozen to a dozen and a half people around the world, and how they kind of coped with it. You know, here in the US, we shot a lot of things. We blew a lot of things up. We set a lot of things on fire. We do that. Then you have folks over in the East who have nothing but melee and bladed weapons, and they have to make do. And they make do. And believe it or not, a good old baseball bat is probably better than a shotgun for most things, except unless you're being swarmed. It is just a fantastic book. It's very well written. It's very well thought out. I met Max Brooks. He's a nice guy. He's only about as tall as his dad, and he's a really cool guy. Former ROTC guy, and he said the only thing he learned in ROTC was how to throw up a lot. Those guys run a lot. I mean, I swear, every ROTC officer I've ever had, that's all he wanted to do during PT was run. Like, sir, there's more things that happen with fitness than just running. Sorry, I had something today. It's just making me thirsty as hell. Anyways, again, if you get a chance, even if all you do is get the audio book, it is worth it, folks. It is very, very much worth it. So I'll look into doing that, Trapper. It might take a while because I would have to set up, I'd have to figure out which cultures I'm going to be touching on. And, you know, I'm not very good with the voices. I'm not Robin Williams here. I can do some of this, and, you know, the Galactic War Games, I can do that one. But doing like female voices is difficult at best. Okay, before I do anything, I got to hold up here. I have to wait a second because Guardian Sage just sent me a $10 super chat. And he says, the images don't have the best quality, but that's what the links to the Hero Forge are for. Yeah, I saw your sketches of all the ships and everything. To allow you to see the characters in better detail. I do apologize if the attached pictures are too low res. It's not that the pictures are too low res. It's my computer wouldn't open them up without that. I'm pretty sure your camera was fine. There's a toss up between the programs, and I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to do a little searching and get that set up. Let me write this down. But yeah, again, big for what you want to be done there, Sage. That's a big one. It's going to take me at least 2, maybe 3 days to get everything lined up in a scenario and everything, so I can get it in a particular order, so I don't fuck up like I did on the last Galactic War Games, where I gave you number, which was supposed to be number 2 first, and then I don't know why I screwed up I had my notes and everything, and I grabbed the wrong one, I guess. I don't know what the fuck. But unfortunately, just listen to them in the order I put them out, because the way the announcer is, it's just makes more sense. Okay. But again, thank you again, Guardian Sage. And I will be going into the, again, it's right here. I got it as I printed them out. But yeah. Let me get back up here. And okay, I think we were at Trapper's thing here. Yep. But yeah, shit. Let me just jump in here. Let's see. Guard says, what sounds like it's up since Allie's right here. Oh shit. Lena says, as long as they didn't make a few conspiracies about the twin spires, that's fine. The only thing I hit on is the fact that you got same species but different clans. If this one was responsible, why in the fuck are you attacking this one? That was the whole point. And it irks people. Again, we don't mind doing bad things. Just aim us at the right people. That's all we ask. Ray saying, Way of the Dragon to win without anyone losing. Way of the Dragon. Why does that sound familiar? I'm trying to remember that. Oh, wait. Way of the Dragon. That was a Bruce Lee thing, wasn't it? Or no, that's Enter the Dragon. God damn it. I'm getting all my stuff mixed up. Okay, on to the next one here. War Sniper says, so I have to resend the mails and because I used the email address you did in your description of the videos. Oh, if you use that one, then it came through and I just missed it for some reason. Let me write this down in big bold letters. War Sniper email. Yes, I'm writing this down. How do I write that down? Look, in big bold letters. I'm not going to miss it. It's in my notes. It might even be in there. I got so much stuff to go through now. It's crazy. But yeah, Brian's saying he's going to be back in 5 minutes. That was probably about 5 minutes ago. He's probably back. Let's see. Chris Dixon said, Chuck Norris thing. When Chuck Norris was in the middle of school, his teacher asked the class to write an essay on what courage means. Chuck Norris turned in a blank page with only his name on it and got an A+. Chuck Norris jokes were always fun. Have you ever actually seen him read the Chuck Norris jokes? He's laughing so damn hard, I thought he was going to pee himself. That's crazy. Chuck Norris actually shot down a German World War II aircraft by pointing his fingers up in the sky and saying, bang. That sort of thing. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He just puts his hand on the ground and the earth shies away from him. See. Demon says there's 168 hours in a week, so I was getting some sleep, just not a lot. Yeah, I can see that. When I begged for help and time off, my boss told me, no, just do my job. So I found a new job and left. That was over 3 years ago. Yeah, this when I was in my whole thing in Korea, what I ended up doing is saying, look, I can't keep this up. I cannot keep this pace and actually do my damn job. I'm going to shut the company store down if that's the case. I'm just going to let it run out of inventory. And they're like, oh, well, you can't do that. I'm like, well, then find someone else. They didn't find somebody else, so I just let it run out of inventory. Then I called the acting first sergeant, that racist piece of shit, and I said, here's all the receipts. And then, within like a month, they're like, hey, everybody needs to put in money to buy plaques. Like, where the hell did all the money go from the company store? The what? Douchebags, I swear. All right. Let's see. Chris says, by the way, what happened to all the Zeppelins that used to be in old pictures? I remember them being there when I was a kid. Oh, that somebody figured that out. Somebody who actually goes through all the pictures. If you zoom in on the edge of the skyline where the, say this is the pictures right here, and one of the buildings is up here, you'll actually see where they cut the picture across the skyline and they put a just blank on there. Just a blank right there, and they redid the photo that way. Sometimes you'll actually see it stitched. It's for its time, it was very well done. But sometimes you'll zoom in on a car or somebody walking and realize that's a painting. That was painted on by somebody who has actual talent, not some abstract painter. Somebody with actual talent did that, and at first glance, it looks like a fucking car. But that's what they did. They Stalined everything. And if you don't know what that means, when you Stalin something, that means you erase it from history. You remove people from photographs. You remove their names. All the references are gone. This could be done back in the 1800s. I mean, it wasn't super difficult to do. I mean, they've kept all the giant stuff out of most of the mainstream media for how long? A lot of people thought Goliath was the only giant ever. Bullshit. There's so much evidence of those things. It is absolutely, positively crazy. A little too much ice in there. I'm having trouble sipping. But yeah, it's just, oh my God. And the thing is, they don't want people to say, oh, the Nephilim exist. Oh, then the Bible works. It's like, you fucking. Again, they want to control everybody. Their idea of control is ridiculous because, believe it or not, Days of Thunder, a very old movie, there's one line in there that speaks absolute truth. And it's where the woman is freaking out and yells at Tom Cruise saying, you want control, but you can't have control. Control is an illusion. It doesn't exist. You don't know what's going to happen the next second. I don't know. They could send one of those Ginsu knife friggin' missiles through here in the next second and, to end the stream real quick. But, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen unless you're a precognition, and there's very few people who can actually do that, at least with any type of certainty, lock onto a certain thing. And everybody who's on the forums, by the way, if you do the gateway stuff, folks, and you want to get into that, pretend you're not as far along as you say you are. Hypothetically, a lot of things, because if they figure out you can do it, you suddenly put a bullseye on your butt. And no kidding, they will bullseye up your butt right before they put one between your eyes. Okay, they don't want people who can do that. Why? Because if their secrets can come out, then they lose control. It's absolutely insane. So anyway, sorry for the side rant, but Chris, that is exactly what they did. They altered the photos and they retook the photos sometimes, and a lot of times they'll say original photograph. Well, there's not a freaking cloud in the sky. Where's the clouds in the sky? It's just blank. Or if there's clouds, you zoom in and you realize that's a brushstroke, motherfucker. That's not a cumulus cloud. That's not a cirrus cloud. It doesn't make freaking sense. Dina says they actually asked. Okay, yeah, with your job, they try to. Yeah, every time somebody asks me to go back to an old job, I just do the same thing. No, and there you go. Travis says, but Sin, if it was real and possible, we'd be doing it already. Free energy, etc. I say with complete total sarcasm. Yeah, I know you're saying with complete total sarcasm. The reason I know that all this stuff is being suppressed because I've been studying green energy since I was old enough to know what the fuck green energies was. Okay, I was like 10 years old when I first started to figure out how a solar panel was actually put together. And the first ones were real simple. You sealed silver and silica. Well, you had to put the silver in a grid pattern and you had to hook the wires up just right. So either you had them in series or sequence. You sealed it with silicone and you got something out of it. The issue is, at least here in the US, it is against the law to have solar panels that are beyond 15% efficiency. That is the absolute freaking limit. And I've been saying this for years, and people are now just hearing from other people. And then I just have to look at it. So you got something else to say, asshole? If you had panels that were even 60 to 90% efficiency, I'd have right now on this house, I'd have 950s on this roof, and I would have shot the cables away from the freaking telephone poles. And I was told to people, hey, don't even come and hook it up. They can. These people that want us totally locked in can find the darkest part of my ass and kiss it repeatedly. This is just insane. Oh, by the way, as far as Greta goes, she can piss off too. Let's see. Trapper also says the conversation the guy had with the kids while drinking and talking about the different plans and stuff gave me flashbacks. A lot of smoke pit conversations and I had with older guys in my unit. Yeah. The smoke pits probably got me all fucked up too. Actually, I was having some issues and I went and got what's known as ozone treatment, where they actually take a syringe of ozone and slowly push it into your bloodstream. And the kicker is I couldn't inhale. It wasn't that my diaphragm wasn't working. It's that my body wouldn't take anything else in. I started to freak out. I thought I was going to choke to death. but I'm like, I'm not getting fuzzy. I'm not missing anything. And according to a few folks who were in the know when I started asking questions, they said chances are whatever was inside my lungs that was giving me all the problems. When, for those who don't understand, ozone is O3. Okay. Pure oxygen is O2, but O3 will break apart when it gets close to another molecule. Say if you got carbon monoxide, one of those oxygens will snap over, and then suddenly you have carbon dioxide. Well, carbon monoxide will kill you. Carbon dioxide just makes you fart. So, okay, gets a lot of the shit out of your system. But yeah, I think that's what's keeping me from not taking a dirt nap as far as a smoke pit's concerned. Yeah, nothing can be drier than Joe Biden's skin. Seriously, you can walk up and just strike a match on his face. Of course, I'm sure a few people like to strike his face, period. Guard says, correction, I meant X, not X. I still have Instagram. It was Twitter X that I do have an X account, but every time I try to post something on there, it gives me problems. I don't know what the hell is going on. But yeah, it's I do have one, and I definitely plan on putting stuff on there for sure. Let's see. Leonid says the main reason why I don't like ZPM in the okay, we're going back for those. This is a extension on the conversation we had last week with the 0-point modules compared to matter antimatter reactors. Which one is stronger? And when we matched up the ZPMs, the 0-point module, which by the way is a real scientific term in Stargate, the way they did it really, for lack of a better term, nerfed the living piss out of a 0-point module. And I was using that in comparison to an actual matter antimatter collision reaction. Matter and antimatter ain't got nothing on 0-point. It would be both would be extremely large, but you're talking something the size of an actual ZPM. Well, there's no solar system here. It's just gone. It's just this giant fireball in the night sky for a half a second. Then we'd all look like Alderaan. Yay. Okay, back to this. The main reason why I don't like the CPM in the show, SG1, is because how rare they are. Nobody knows how to make them in the factory, but we made to believe that ancients had been using them for their tech. Yeah, which means they would be all over the place. It'd be like somebody showing up and say, oh, we need electricity. Oh, we can get electricity from a car battery. That if here in if the car batteries didn't go dead, where are we going to find a car battery? They're so rare. Bullshit. They're everywhere. You're right. That was a definitely very, very large plot hole in that show. Oh my God. Deathbed question on here. It took me a second to read that. I'm going to write this down because this is a good idea. The Terran triathlon of terror. So in other words, put Xenos through an obstacle course. And yeah. That just sounds funny, man. The triathlon of terror. What can these humans do? Oh my God, they swim too. Oh shit. Yeah, that sounds really good. Okay, we got Thomas on here, and I'm not gonna screw with your name there, dude. The book World War Z was good. It's still, as far as I'm concerned, it's the second best book I've ever read, right behind Starship Troopers. Travis says, haven't read the book World War Z, but from my understanding, the book is way better. Hell the fuck yes. Yes, it doesn't have some pain in the ass pretty boy actor who thinks he's better than the people who actually wrote the goddamn script or wrote the book and decides to make himself a hero. You got to remember that Brad Pitt is trying desperately to look like the greatest thing. His ego is on display in everything he does. In the movie Fury, it was. I mean, oh, okay. We'll get into that. I just want to talk about World War Z. What he did with that one. There was no actual hero to follow in World War Z, in the actual book. Okay, but suddenly he is the main character. It follows him and only him, and the dude can do fucking everything like James Bond on meth. I mean, it's just crazy. And I'm just like, what in the ever-loving fucknuts is going on here? This can't be right. This is insane. I don't know what the hell I'm watching. If it wasn't for the fact I paid so much for the ticket, I would have walked out. I hated that movie so goddamn much. I was looking forward to it, and I'm just like, what the hell? And it didn't occur to me until I saw the movie Fury. And then when you see the lineup they did, and all they did was, it's called a flank right, folks. And all it is 90 degrees to the right, and they just go straight, basically shoulder to shoulder. They were way closer than they should have been. But he's taking control of everybody else's tank, where he yells at the other tanks like, hey, right stick, move. You're about to run people over. You don't think the freaking driver can see that? You don't think the tank commander knows that? I'm like, I know they're trying to base it off the war daddy, who's a real person and a real total badass, by the way. But what in the ever-loving shit? He makes it seem like his tank and only when it's under his command is worth the shit. I'm just like, dude, go fuck yourself. Ugh. Okay. Sorry about maybe the spoilers for the whole Fury thing, but that fucker pisses me off. Okay. Let's see. Okay, he said read the book. Book is better, yeah, but just feeling different alien units getting wrecked. Says aliens in Louisiana have to deal with Cajuns. Ding 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 ding. Do you? I actually wonder, would the Cajuns actually look at it and say to an alien, "Smile like a pig boy"? Okay, Bite Me says, what do you think of airship sightings in California and Texas in 1897? I think those involved were perfecting airship tech from von Zeppelin and the U.S. government. The U.S. government did actually have their own blimps for a long time, and they used pretty much the same technology. There's plenty of, well, I shouldn't say plenty, but there's a few pictures of the U.S. Air Force. It's a big old symbol, the U.S. Air Force on the side. Why in the hell they use that symbol, I don't freaking know. But there's plenty of pictures of those all over the place. And yeah, they were used for a while. Now, one of the reasons why they weren't used in combat was one simple reason. They could get higher than the biplanes could reach at a certain point. But by the time they drop their combat, bust that combat load all over everybody on the ground, drop it right on their face. By the time they turn around, those biplanes are up there with them. It takes a long time for those planes to get up that high, but they can do it. And all they got to do is pierce enough of the cells. If they're using helium, you punch enough of the cells and that airship is going down. And those airships took a very long time to build. But they could carry a hell of a lot of ordnance. What was worse is when they started using incendiary rounds and they started sending the fuel on fire, because there's absolutely no fire suppression system inside the ones that were used during World War I. And it was just absolutely crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Now, as far as the airship sightings off California and Texas around that time, it is theorized, okay? I'm not saying this is what it is. It's theorized that folks they were actually working on the tech, but Tartaria itself was running south to Antarctica to try and get the fuck away from the rest of us. Is that true? I don't freaking know. I do believe they were messing with it, but come to find out that the aircraft were outperforming the airships. That being said, the airships, the only reason they got rid of them is because the petroleum industry wanted to make more money. It was becoming much more profitable to fuel airplanes than airships, because the airships could go literally from New York to London and back again without refueling. They could carry that much fuel. And it was like being on a luxury liner the whole way. Even though it was slow, people didn't mind. You can find detailed designs of the insides of these things. And I'm just like, holy shit, the cruise I was on wasn't this nice. Then again, the cruise I was on sucked balls, but that's beside the point. Okay, Lenin says, don't get me started on the World War Z book. Zombies that can survive underwater and walk onto the coast like a Terminator is stupid. Well, if they don't need to breathe, it's not as dumb. The only thing I find stupid is the fact that once they're down to a certain thing, how do they know to walk in what direction? That's the unless there's some sort of instinct thing they didn't talk about. But if they are already pointing that direction and they're just walking, I don't think it's that dumb. Oh, this thing jumped like crazy. Okay. Yep. Keeping my lights on. There you go, guard. Thomas is here saying, I was going to listen to Galactic War Games tomorrow at work. Oh, fuck me. I don't want to spoil anything, man. Oh, shit. If I ruin anything, I'd feel like an asshole. Because I hate it when people spoil things for me. Alien invasion in World War II would be cool. Yeah, War of the Worlds. That's what's been done. That's why I don't ever touch that. The only time anybody's ever actually touched that another time and it worked was somebody decided to bring the world of BattleTech into ours, and they actually put there where you got an urban mech right next to a bunch of cannons on the ground during the Civil War. Because if you actually back the timeline up, that's when it would be. All right. Wow, I am so gonna screw that name. Sophia. Dude, I'm gonna fuck that up so bad. What are we doing here? War Sniper says the title of the email is Dragon God in Disguise with his 4 Kitsunes. Actually, I remember seeing that. I'm gonna write that down, Kitsunes. Well, I for the life of me, I can't always spell that right. The Kitsunes. I always get the E's and the I's mixed up. Thankfully, this is audio, and you guys don't have to read it how many times I fucked that up. Okay. Lenin says, I've heard a lot about mysterious airship sightings in the 1800s before they even existed. Yeah, because Tartaria had them. It's just that simple. If you actually look, the initial paper maps that were created, you will find over northern Russia, Siberia area, and a little farther and deep into what we call nowadays China, right over Mongolia, too. That's all Tartaria. Big area. Let's see. Trapper says, sorry, my phone died. Well, you shouldn't have strangled it. Maybe you're one of those guys who gets so mad you can strangle a cordless phone, or strangle somebody with a cordless phone. Okay, Lena says, what is a giant in the Bible? It actually wrongly translated a word from Greek or the Latin that means something else. Okay, the giants in the Bible there's 2 sets, okay? The Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels. When the fallen angels came down, they taught humans a whole bunch of stuff, but they also said, hey, human chicks are hot, and started producing. And the offspring were the Nephilim, and they were almost all red-haired, very, very large, 6 fingers, 6 sets of toes, double sets of teeth. Now I'm probably mispronouncing them because I've heard it Nephilim, Nephilim, I can't even pronounce them all. It's crazy. But a lot of things don't translate when you go into the Bible. And I'm going to give you guys a perfect example where it says, thou shalt not kill is actually a mistranslation. If you actually go back and do it directly, it says, thou shalt not murder, not kill. That's different. Because sometimes you don't have a choice. If you go out and just off somebody, just off them, that's a whole different kettles of worms. So I just use that as the best example I got when it comes to mistranslations, when things get translated over. If I'm mispronouncing this, Safik, I do apologize, but I'm going to go with that. How are you here? Who knows? I'm here because you guys are here. I do this once a week. so that, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or story ideas, we can go over it. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do this once a week. Okay. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Yeah, that's the thing. So much information is being blocked from us. You know who the keepers of the most information are? Go to the Vatican and the archives. That's where the majority of stuff is. Not all of it. Believe me, other people are holding on to theirs. But it seems as though a lot of this stuff is being compartmentalized away from each other. The more I learn about this stuff, the more it kind of freaks me out. Like certain tech stuff is in one area, ancient literature is another area. The old all this different stuff is just separated. The money is somewhere else. It's crazy. Chris saying submitted a pattern design for renewable energy, but it was rejected based on the social impact. Yeah, I could believe that. He's right, folks. There is a federal law that says if a perpetual energy device of any sort is patented, they will wrap it with enough red tape that no one will be able to touch it because it is a felony to actually produce it. Free energy has too much of a social. Now, the thing is, they say social, but if you actually read the description, it says social and or financial impact against the country. And that they always wrap it in the social stuff because it sounds better. They don't want to just say, yeah, you're costing us money. I say, bite me. But yeah, it's crazy. And in all honesty, it's very easy to build one of these things. It's really not that hard. However, if I did one, the thing would be the size of this screen I'm looking at. But there's folks out there, Chris, you're probably one of them, where you could make one just as small as this bottle here. Yes, that was a Pulp Fiction joke. For those of you who weren't looking, I got a cozy with the words "bad motherfucker," and that's if I run out of drinks over here, I got another one. So, anyways, but yeah, that's just the way it is, and I've actually touched on that in a couple of my stories with the hidden information that suddenly revealed to us. Now, I didn't do the whole Tartaria thing before, just because I wasn't versed enough to put anything in there where it would work. But now I am. I might do some more on that. But then again, I might get a knock on my door. Hey, FBI, you need to stop talking about this. People are getting too interested. Let's see. Guard says, holy crap, I do have a Twitter account. Must have made it forever ago. And I was a degenerate memester. But hey, I have it. It's admin, and his picture is a mime with an M16. Two things that'll scare you. And hold on, I'm trying to get this to scroll down without jumping. This thing loves to jump. Okay. Trapper, another idea. Let me prepare my pen. Where was I? Time travel insurancy. Oh, insurgency warfare. Time travel. Huh? Travel. Insurgency warfare. Good thing I can write in cursive, or that would take twice as long. Basically, some terrorist group or something get time travel capabilities, and they're going back in time to fuck with shit and to change the future. That's a very dangerous thing to do because you might just erase yourself. Yeah, it's when it comes to any type of temporal stuff, you got to be careful. Now, if you you got to remember that a lot of people, when they deal with time travel, also work with the multiple dimensions. When you go back in time, you might not be in the same dimension that you left. That's why they call it a world line. It's multiple ones, and the math suggests up to like 23 of them. So I don't know what to go from there. Okay. Guard saying followed you on X, and Sophia's like, he's on X. Yes, but again, I'm having trouble actually posting on there. For some reason, they keep saying your file's too big. I like hearing things like that from women, but not from X, motherfucker. Let me post, you bastard. Okay. See, Travis says, and if you have an SF group who travels back in time to stop them, the Delta, folks who don't exist, I've worked with them, is they have to do it in ways that won't mess up the timeline. So they use tactics that make it look like acts of God. Yeah, you kind of have to. And the thing is, you go back to a certain level. And again, I used to freak out my professor when I was the only one who in years who could actually figure out the actual temporal calculation. In all honesty, I told him it's more got to do with heart than it does with mind, because most of the people who try to do the math will go absolutely nuts. The thing is, it's all about cause and effect, and you can't calculate that, hand to paper. It doesn't work that way, because there's always an X factor. And if you don't understand the X factor, it doesn't work. But yeah, I got it right here. Time travel insurgency warfare. And by the way, the folks who don't officially exist, that most of you guys know as Delta, they go by several different names. Some of the coolest guys I ever worked with. Just freaking awesome. Just not assholes at all. They had plenty of patience to work with us, and they were able to go and do other stuff that we didn't ask any questions about. And it was just nice to work with them. I don't say too many high things about Green Berets, at least not the ones I work with, but the Delta guys were cool as fuck. Let's see. Leonid, I will probably finish watching a brain rot anime about a deer woman in the next 2 weeks. Deer woman? Really? I've only did deer people once that I can think of. And it's in the creepy folder. If you go into the playlist, might have to scroll. I haven't done anything in those in a while, but it's in there. It's about a hunting trip. But I kind of, I was actually in the middle of hunting season. I was like, it'd be funny. You're sitting up there for hours on end. Your mind tends to wander. Sofet going, yo, I'm not doing that hand signal, dude. I know what that means. What? 2 weeks? Okay. Hey, by the by, didn't your phone? My phone didn't die. Oh shit. Okay. See, again, I swear this thing just jumps like crazy. Okay. Demon says, at least the Asgard and SG-1, it made sense why their stuff wasn't anywhere or wasn't everywhere. They took it with them when they left existence, which I still don't understand why they did that. I mean, seriously, all you got to do is just keep doing the cloning thing. They had all the new fresh DNA they needed. It's crazy. And you think someone that smart wouldn't have to do what they did. But, hey, they do what they do. Someone says, hey, what's that from? Random question, how EMP... I might be misreading this, Sofex. A random question, how EMP may work, or I think you say might work. Because EMP is quite simple. The electromagnetic pulse usually needs a nuclear weapon to get the charged ions from the upper atmosphere to spray down. And all it does is, say this is a wire. The wire can only handle, we'll say 50 volts, just to make the math easy. That's the maximum capacity. Well, normally this wire that can handle 50 volts only runs 30. And even though it's only 30 volts, it's still kind of warm, but it's still got room to go. Well, you hit it with an EMP, you're not just putting 50 volts through it now, you're putting 250 volts, and it will literally cook. It will melt down and fry right there. That's why they say fry everything, because it overheats and usually explodes. It's a thermal expansion, hits instantly. And a lot of times there's so much there that a spark will jump over from one circuit to another, creating an arc, which causes more feedback. And then you're like double, triple dosing yourself. jumping from 250 volts to like 5,000 volts in like a split second. And pretty much if we did have an EMP, everybody's cell phone would simply burst. The connector piece between the battery, just like they used to do back when the flip phones first started blowing up in people's pockets, that's where that comes from. It was actually just pulling way too much juice and it wasn't able to handle it. You do that now and it'll burst the same way. And you're going to have people just reach, get that out of my pocket. My biscuits are burning, man. Fire in the hole. But yeah, that's how that goes. Let's see. Thomas says both U.S. blimps that the U.S. had crashed into the oceans. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. He says both the blimps that the U.S. had crashed into the ocean in storms. I don't see why, because those things, if built correctly, can get above the storm cell. They shouldn't have been down that low. I remember the Goodyear blimp used to be a big thing when I was a kid. But that thing was so slow and so low that I don't know how in the hell the thing didn't crash. Trapper saying, how about one following some military insiders that learned a little too much, and now they're doing stuff dealing with Tartaria, Hollow Earth, Forgotten Tech, etc. Not sure how it could run that, but yeah, I could, but what happens with a lot of people who know too much won't know much when their brain is outside their skull. This kind of, I hate to say it, but another nugget of truth in media was from, I think it was the movie Shooter, where they go off to the cabin to start asking questions. And it's like, bad job to take, taking a shot like that, because the guy's probably dead. That's how conspiracy works. If you know too much and they don't want you to, they end you. These type of people don't actually give a shit about human life. It means nothing to them. Okay, down here, Lena says, if you want, you can use airships in military fiction. Yeah. They're like an artillery platform that can go across land and water and everything else. Yes. That was the whole idea of using them. Original military speaking, they were originally used as bombers. I mean, they could carry a hell of a lot of ordnance. I mean, it's actually kind of scary how much ordnance they could truly carry. And that was one of the reasons why they were such a prime target to take down. The thing is, by the time you got over the target, they're only moving at a certain clip because they're not using the type of drive engines that they should have. They were using simple prop engines, which weren't very strong at the time. So it was moving so slow. So by the time they got there, it was a terror weapon. They weren't actually getting anybody. And all they had was high explosive. They didn't start using incendiaries much back then because, well, at that point, most people didn't like burning everybody to the ground. But yeah, let's see. Alina says how zombies will get crushed underwater because of high pressure. That depends on how deep they go. But yes, they actually did touch on that in the book. Any of them that ended up, and that's why they dropped them into the Marianas Trench, because they would just, I mean, it's kind of hard to have a brain to function when everything just turns to goop. Let's see. Artillery and blimps or Zeppelins, think of the recoil factor. Well, that's why you have the recoil reducer inside, just like a standard howitzer recoiling barrel. They figured that out. That actually is a World War I invention. The original cannons, they would line them up, they would fire them, and they would just roll backwards and then roll back. But once they actually realized that you could set a type of hydrostatic shock that slows it down and the barrel goes back to the exact same point, that's what made artillery so damn accurate at that point. Until then, it was just, we're going to fire it that way. We're going to assume it's going to hit over there. I mean, hell, back in the day, Napoleon, think how much time he had to spend. He spent months, if not years, studying artillery so he could use it effectively. And even then, it was effective, but it wasn't as big a game changer as he thought. it was still a game changer because, again, he knew how to aim the fucking thing. That being said, it was still a kind of fuck over everything over there type weapon. Let's see. Let's see. Tom is saying, what about doing a story like the first Solar Civil War? I think I did one of those already. First Solar Civil War. Actually, I was kind of working on, and it was just a prototype. There was one of the stories. It was a series, and I'm trying to remember the name. I've done so many, I'm losing track. Where the character that you follow actually gets a hold of a planet that's been bombarded, and the slaves that he freed are a genetically modified species, and he brings them all there. And I don't want to ruin the thing, but I could bring them into this sort of thing, and I think it would be interesting. Anyway, not a bad idea. Thomas also says, oh, you can call me Tom. Tom V. That would be easier. Okay. Tom V. Tommy. Tom V. Gun. Okay. Let's see. Deathbed saying, you missed the eye and terrain, but the idea sounds good. I was thinking multi-environment episode of Galactic War Games. You mean an actual war? Yeah, that's you got to be careful on that. Somebody actually brought that up in the comments. If you had actual like all the areas, under the underground, on ground, ocean, air, space, interstellar, all these combined arms going, so you might as well just have a full-blown war at that point. Not to mention trying to squeeze that into one episode, or even a series would be, how do I put this? Confusing without visuals. Very, very confusing. Not a bad idea, but very, very confusing. Which is why I sectioned it off. Let's see. Although I will say the first Galactic War Games actually came to fruition because I was like, how do I actually get them to actually go one-on-one with some of the biggest, meanest equipment we've ever had in science fiction, i.e. a battle mech. And that's how that came out, and it just evolved from there. Guard says, Asen, is it okay if after stream, can you DM me on X so I can get a link to the Syntax Discord? I don't have a Discord at the moment. I am like this close to actually getting the Militia Maniacs up and running. Okay. I have one issue with that game that I'm just driving me nuts. And then I simply have to crunch some numbers. But as soon as I have that up and running, it's going to be in the description edition that I put in on every single video, which actually is down in the Meat Gazer box down there. I saw you Meat Gazer. But yeah, it'll be there. As soon as I have it, I'll take care of it. Okay. Lena probably has the compensators for the artillery. He's talking about the airships. If it's on a mobile platform like an airship, the guns can also have energy weapons and shields to protect them. Yeah. I mean, hell, an AC-130 has its own countermeasures, has its own flares, its own decoys and stuff like that. Okay, Demon, I'm going to screw this up. Schwarzmarken is an anime that takes place in 1983 during the Cold War, and humanity is under attack by aliens called Beta. It has mechs and it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. You know what? I've been out of the anime loops for so long, I can't even think of this. Why does this thing jump so goddamn much? Sorry, guys. It's you guys don't see it, but all of a sudden the whole chat box just went whoosh. I'm like, what the fuck? Let me find this here. Okay, there we go. Demon continues, says the talking about aliens invading during World War II reminded me of it. Yeah, I'm sure it would. Lean jumps in. I think the spider tanks would be much more efficient and threatening because of the multi-leg design than their bipedal cousins. Yes and no. It really depends on A, what type of material you've got, B, what type of weaponry it has, C, how said weapons are deployed. I mean, if you have a spider tank and you want to make sure that you're hitting that target, you're going to have an actual fixed weapon on top, and you're going to use like a tank destroyer. Tank destroyers, the barrels barely moved. You know, it was only like a 5-degree up, down, left, right. They actually had to rotate the entire things because that's a big ass gun on there. If that's what they wanted, then it's going to be a whole lot easier to destroy. Not to mention all of the weight has got to be taken off the body and to be put in the gun itself. There's a lot of things to go into on that one. But again, when it came to that one, it's the fact that the weapons were bracketed in ranges. So our guys could actually not only use everything at range, but they had an extra surprise if you got close. And not to mention, you know, I'm not going to ruin it. At least when it came to the Galactic War Games Season 1, they realized, okay, we need different equipment. And they had to test out what works and what doesn't against the opponent. Now, if you're within certain ranges, multi-leg designs can be effective. They tend to wobble, believe it or not, they tend to wobble a lot more than unless you have like 6 legs or above. Like the Star Wars tank there, the 6-leg tank, that thing worked a lot better than the 4-legged walker they had. That being said, when you go pound for pound against each other, the 6-leg one was a lot smaller and had a lot less armor on it. That was the big difference between the two. Yes, you can't make fun of a series unless you know something about it, right? Oh, almost dropped that. Okay, Bite Me Sarah. He's talking to Chris. I keep my FE device designs in my head so I don't want to leave lethal car accident when other vehicles can't be identified nor found. Okay. D-Mail says, my dear friend Nikotin, the brain, wrought anime about Deer Woman. Okay. Oh, my dear friend you know, I can't pronounce that. Nikotin. Okay. Yeah. As far as around here, my dear friend is the one that's going to catch a 30-30 slug through the chest. Unfortunately, I got one last year, but the year before, the only one I saw, I pulled up on it. Damn thing was smaller than my brother's dog. I'm like, I'm not going to shoot this one. There's nothing to it. Besides, I don't like shooting yearlings. I'd rather they actually go out and get some ass first. You know, no point in shooting the little ones. They haven't even gotten any yet. That make me feel bad. You don't kill the virgin, man. Okay. The Tommy gun here says, it would be cool to have a story of a secret war against cryptids. That would be, look up into the playlist. I believe it's called Wow, Stasis Sucks. And you're going to get something similar. It's not really cryptid for sure. But I did hit something also similar with, goddamn, Are We Human Enough? That's another kind of not so human story, but also human at the same time. You know, those are up the alley, what you're talking about. See. Alan says, Sin, if you get time, read The Last Centurion by John. Why does it sound familiar? Last Centurion. Yeah, damn. You guys are filling this thing up in notes. This sounds familiar. I think I've seen it in the clothing and sales. I don't think I actually. Oh, Centurion. Okay. Power Extreme. Yeah. Afghan war with the grunts point of view. Well, basically, I'd be reliving stuff I've gone through. I didn't actually go to Afghanistan. Me and a few other guys that didn't go, we kind of had our, as one guy put it, his S was tingling, his ESP. He's like, if I go to Afghanistan, I'm not coming home. And a few of us were the same way. And not a lot of us, but myself, I was like, yeah, I go there. I might get through one tour, but I'm not getting through two, motherfucker. It was kind of weird. Anyway, Travis says, Sin, think your writing style could be cool, change of pace to the SCP universe, especially if you're writing in the from the view of one of the mobile task force, basically field operations point of view. I did think about doing that, but I don't want to step on another creator. I think the SCP was a really smart idea. I really do. And I do think that they got a lot of good things going. And it took a while, but a few people are like, wait a minute. You got SCP such and such and SMP or SCP, what the fuck? Why don't you take such and such to take care of what the fuck? And they did that. The shy guy, they finally released the doctor and said, hey, fix this guy. And he did. And suddenly the shy guy is no longer a threat anymore. I'm like, okay, what the hell? Why don't you do this with all of them? Put the doctor in with the unkillable lizard. And boom, there you go. Let's see. Demon says, Terminator Zero was actually a surprisingly good anime too. I don't want to spoil it, but there are a few parts that bugged me. But other than that, I think it does the unit. Oh, it does. You put dose. It does the universe good. Oh, that's good. I think I'll have to look that up then. Again, I've been running around. I had to deal with my bees today. I've been with my dad all day. We went around, had to check in with an old friend who lost his wife and stuff. It's been a long day. So if I can get time, sure. Okay, see. Sofix says, nah, it's the Black Tower. He said okay. You guys talking about that. Okay. War Sniper back saying, but is that overheating of the EMP not only happening when the device is active or when it's not active? It will not overheat. Yes and no. It depends on the EMP itself. If the EMP is strong enough, it will fry absolutely everything. That being said, a EMP shockwave that strong would kill a lot of people anyway, because your body is electrical. It would overload your system. A non-active system has a much higher chance of surviving, but the only way to truly get an electrical device through an EMP is to use what's known as a Faraday cage, where you have a sealed metal container of some sort, which is lined with a non-conductive material, and your items are inside that non-conductive material. And I know it's unbelievably, you can do it with a trash can, believe it or not. All you need to do is have a metal trash can and have some like a wet weather bag, put your stuff in the wet weather bag, tie that son of a bitch shut, put it in there. You got a makeshift Faraday cage. Done, son. But again, if it's strong enough, even if the device is actually off, it can cook it. But there's a very, very low chance that it will be able to let me phrase this right. With what could be known as a standard solar flare, south facing. If it's north facing, don't worry. You guys know north and south and magnetics and everything. If it's north facing, who gives a shit? You're just going to have a little bit of disturbance in the force when it comes to texting, and your internet's going to be a little fuzzy for a while. But if it's south facing, what's the average known would not shut everything down. Actually, best estimate, only about 50 to 60% of the vehicles on the road would actually shut down. Now, is that a lot? Absolutely. And it would take a long time to clean that out. But it would not be enough to shut down the entire government. Not to mention, the majority of what we have is EMP resistant. A lot of the stuff inside your house is already grounded. Actually, over in Europe, you guys do it better than we do over here. as far as grounding things. Excuse me. And that's just one of those things. This is actually one of the classes I had to teach back in the day. I don't have my materials anymore. I had to leave them there. But it's worst case scenarios we had to go over, and the EMP was one of them. And the fact of the matter is, we're like, well, how are we going to stop everybody from running into the post if we have an EMP go off and, all our equipment won't start? And then we find out 40% of it's going to be fine. Guess what? It's not affecting the ammo. And we still have open sights. You don't need the freaking fancy bullshit to fire it. You can actually, stand up. Usually your face is stuck in the gunner's mount, and you're holding on. It's weird. It's kind of like a pilot's yoke, but it turns and twists and all that, and that controls the actual gun. But you can actually, if you need to, you can stand up out of the hatch, and they got this little reticle over there. It's just a little piece of plastic. And, you fire 1 or 2 shots, and you're like, okay, so it's 3 inches off the edge of that. So, okay, change and fire. Then, choop, 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 choop. Then you don't have anything to worry about after that, because somebody just turned into pink mist. But yeah, EMPs are, how do I put this? Will they be devastating? Yes. Will they be absolutely devastating to everything? Absolutely not. And if they are that devastating, you're not going to be around to deal with it. Okay. Trapper saying SCP stories are usually really rigid in the writing, but I think your style would be great change of pace in the fandom. For that one, Trapper, there's a reason why. Whenever you submit something, it has to go by a certain format. Okay, whenever you read those formats, it always goes, or any one of those. And they do have people who actually read them online. And I think some folks do a really, really good job. And they even get other people in to play the other characters and stuff like this, because they're actually reading the interviews. But again, it has to be that rigid format to submit into be an SCP. Again, I don't want to piss on somebody else's work. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm sure from one of those guys, it would be great. They actually, you can find people basically did it with, I'm sure you heard of Mishima or whatever, where they use actual video games, and they use the actual SCP video game, and they did missions from that point of view. They did a decent job on that. Let's see. Sofix, oh, he's out. He's going to see you. See you later, bud. Tommy Gun here says the blimps the blimps that they had, I'm guessing the U.S. government, were held and launched biplanes, and their engines were underpowered, very much so, and could not outrun the storm. It was a cool documentary. Yeah, the original idea was to have at least for that, was to have an aerial aircraft carrier, basically, an aircraft carrier. And the weird thing, it worked. Actually, there's an old video game on it. I forget which one. You actually play as the pilot itself that has to go up every once at the end of the mission. You can actually get extra points and stuff by actually going in, cutting your engine at the right time. And there's a hook on the top of your plane, and you just hook on, and then they just pull you in to the blimp, which they call a ZEP. I don't know the name. You guys probably know the name of it. It was I only remember it because it was something that was at my work, and I played it during my time off, and I forget the freaking name. But yeah, that as far as an aircraft-borne aircraft carrier, that was the best design. I know those crazy Ruskies over there. Whoo, shit. They were actually designing a plane, and I don't mean the one that had the yaks on the top and bottom. I mean an actual turbine-driven aircraft, and underneath the wings was just rows and rows of MiGs. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? The problem is the thing was so big, there's only like 1 or 2 places in the world where you could build an airstrip big enough to actually launch and land this fucking thing. Let's see. Tommy Gunn also says they were the test platform for the U.S. only had 2. Yeah, they failed successfully. Did they work? Yes. Did they work well enough? No. Travis saying, oh, he's sending this to Tommy Gunn. A secret cryptid war would be cool as fuck. Maybe have some of that work with the humans in some natural ECT. Oh, natural central. Just saying Bigfoot has a 240. Bigfoot with a 240. Stay out of my forest, you son of a bitch. I kind of touched on that a little bit. There was a story I never did finish. It was called Dark Elf. It failed miserably, so I never actually finished it. But there was actually one point where you'd see basically one of the big green orcs from World of Warcraft whipping around a 240 heavy machine gun like I whip around an M4. I mean, that was going to be part of it, but I never got that far because it just crashed. Okay, this thing jumped again. Sometimes this thing really, really pisses me off. Okay, Bite Me says EMP works by inducing a secondary magnetic field in conductive substances and then couples over to a high voltage spike that ruptures the micro-thin dielectrics in solid state electron devices. See, he's going through all the scientific stuff. I gave a very simple explanation, but he's absolutely right. It overloads it and breaks it, and then kablooey, it fries. But, I'm not an engineer. Sounds like Bite Me, you are. So, hold on. Let me get my engineer face on. This is my engineer face. Anyway, Tommy Gunn says the name of the blimps the U.S. has was the USS Archon and the USS Macon. I wonder if the Macon was a Blue Falcon. Anyways, if you don't know what that is, Blue Falcon is slang for buddy fucker, the guy who screws you over to try and make himself look better. Anyway, Guard says, TBH, SCP just ain't fun anymore. Actually, with some of the mainline characters in the series just being flat out removed because the IRL problems, like Dr. Bright, which is an honestly scary character. That being said, the only reason I stopped watching SCP is because they overplayed their hand. The supposed giant eel over by India, where if it woke up and swam to the other part of the world, would destroy every single continent on the planet because of its massive fucking size. I'm sitting there like, dude, no. This thing farts, and you would say goodbye to Taiwan, Japan, Indonesia, and pretty much all the rest of the Philippines. It's like, no, they overplayed it. He continues with, due to some IRL problems, I'd rather not mention he's been removed from almost every inch of the lore to the point that they're having to remake over a dozen different SCP stories now. When they started redoing one in particular, the Teenage Succubus, they changed to the Teenage Gaia. Why? Because it's not kid friendly enough. Bite me. It was fine the way it was. Ugh. Anyways, then they tried to add more to Bright on that one. It's just like, dude, no. Somebody realized that whoever put the Teenage Succubus in was a much better writer. It's like, no, I want to do it better. Okay. Let's see. Bite Me saying, yes, they were not blimps, but dirigibles. Dirigibles have a solid metal endoskeleton, where the blimps are just gas bags with no rigid framework. Yes and no. The original blimps, again, the ones where you can get a cross section. Okay, I'm not talking about military versions. Those are different. I'm talking about the civilian ones where they actually had like sleeping quarters and stuff like that. Those had a framework. However, they were not nearly as complex as the dirigibles. You were absolutely right. And they were actually, from the way they were built, most of it was wood because it kept the weight down. And it also allowed it to flex more. Garney says, I finally managed to send the additional info. Sorry for the jumbled information. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Lena says, Gundam was originally meant to be a space weapon, and I'm not sure if it's used that way in every anime version. As far as Gundams, there's only like one or two that I can actually watch. 8th MS Team is one of those, and the other one is Double X. And the only reason I can watch Double X, even though it's never been translated, is there's just, and I know I don't say spoiler alerts much often, but there's one. Here's one right in the first episode. He's like, "Hey, I got this controller," and then he's like, "Well, I'm gonna sell this later." He's holding on to it. Then he jumps in the Gundam. It's like, "There's no controller." It's like, "Oh crap! Oh wait, I have a controller. Oh, if this works, I'll believe in God." Wham! Turns everything on, and the girl he's rescuing waits. Guess what? I believe in God now. It's like, what the fuck? That was just a funny line. Unfortunately, it's the only good joke in the whole thing. So again, sorry for spoiling it. I mean, the thing is, that one was kind of goofy, kind of stupid. 8th MS Team was just so much better. But yeah, that one was actually down to earth, literally. It wasn't using any type of space anything. Double X did. Guard says, "Oh yeah, I forgot that you had mentioned that a couple streams ago when I had asked the same question about the Discord. Although when I say couple, I mean about 5 months ago. No worries." Let's see. Demon says the anime 86 has spider tanks and it's humans versus robots. It's also a good anime. And Ghost in the Shell had a spider tank too. I remember that. It was considered the most dramatic scene in anime at the time, where she's trying to pull the hatch off and everything in her synthetic body is just snapping away. You know, it kind of weirds me out that character was originally male and then decided to move its consciousness into a female body, which was, I'm just like, what? Maybe I heard it wrong. Maybe that was a different anime, but I was just like, something's off here. Then again, you know, you're a whole lot less likely to shoot a female, especially when she got good jugs like that. Let's see. You guys are going back and forth against each other. Guard says 86 is a great series. Sadly, the English translation for the manga has been picked up and dropped so many times. It's pretty much like that old dish rag that nobody wants to touch. Are you sure it's a dish rag? You guys know where I'm going with that. Okay. Lean it again. He says, oh God, I'm going to screw this up. Shika Nakanatin. You know, I'm not even going to try. My tongue doesn't work that way anymore. It's the Japanese name of that anime. Okay, good to know. I think I got it written down here. Let's see. Bite Me says, and there's no escape from the Matrix. Oh shit, really? Where's the plug? It was just has multiple different simulations running simultaneously, making those inside believe they have disconnected and free. You know, I haven't seen the last one, so hopefully you're not ruining anything for me. Let's see. Tommy Gunn here. So what about a story about an alien finding a human genie? A human genie. That's okay. Maybe I can do a Robin Williams voice. Human genie. The thing is, most genies are jinns, and jinns are, well, they're mean and they're tricksters. So you know you got to be careful about that. You know, you ask for $1 million and they give you $1 million doll hairs. You know, so like, oh, I misheard you. Yeah, bullshit, you did, asshole. Let's see. Lena says, I remember when the Matrix used the simulation to train humans to fight aliens. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, learn everything from people who've been there. Just relive their memories. So that would be great. See, Demon says the Secret War episode of season 1 of Love, Death, and Robots was on Netflix. Yep, tells the story of a group of Red Army soldiers fighting demons in Russian forest during World War II. It was really, really good. Yes, it was. It was a very good. Their season 1 was so much better than anything else they've made. It is absolutely staggering. Okay. That one, Secret War, was good. The one with the fighting monsters was really good. Suits was one of the best. I thought that was just really good. There was others that were just really Lucky 13. I thought was really well done. There are some on there that were artistic, which is another word for they sucked. Ugh, it was just stupid. So, anyways, but yeah, the Love, Death, and Robots, they start out good, but just like everything in Netflix, they bend it over sideways, and there you go. Sophic says, "Hell, y'all geek here, have fun, and my caveman ass still living under a rock, trying to figure out what's going on out in the world." Well, not many good things, but this isn't a political channel, so a lot of things are going to be not said around here. Okay, jumped again. Why did this jump again? Here we go. Lena says, Terminator Zero builds Terminators by Nokia. You mean the phones? Because they survive damage and keep moving. Okay, that's funny. Actually, what most people think is the original Nokia phone, that one that's just one solid piece. That's not the original Nokia phone. That's actually the version 2. The original Nokia phone was actually quite fragile. That being said, the version 2 was, good God, I've seen them run over by trucks and they just keep going. I don't know how they keep going, but they keep going. Back before planned obsolescence got their grubby little mitts into there. Trapper says, okay, I didn't know how that worked when it came to the SCP. Yeah, it has to be in that format. It absolutely 100%. If you put on their website and you don't have it in that format, they will delete it. And how do I know this? I may or may not have tried to put something on there, and I didn't follow the format right. I got to the things backwards, and they immediately removed it and said, rewrite it and send it back. I was like, yeah, I'm not putting that much work into it. The Nokias were the indestructible war, or indestructible master of war there. Okay. Yeah. Aliens come and say, oh, your weapons are useless. Throw Nokia phones at them. Sophic saying, okay, I'm really out this time. Okay, see you next week. Lena says 70s and 80s were the insane times for the Cold War airplane development. Yeah, they were, because they were testing everything. Oddly enough, 70s and 80s, when we first got attack helicopters, the Chinook was originally designed. That was a huge thing. The Thunder Screech, and everybody called it, that was designed around that time. Who the hell thought having a prop-driven aircraft break the speed of sound was a moron? And I always wondered where that phrase came from. The whole, you're not big enough and there's not enough of you. And I didn't know that actually came from an Air Force pilot. That's actually kind of cool. Because as a grunt, I used to hear that. Like, you're going to go on this minute. You're not big enough. There's not enough of you. It's not going to happen. Okay. Travis says, well, I need some sleep. Have fun chatting with you, Big Sarge. Nobody really calls me Sarge, but okay. I'll catch you later there, Trapper. And he's saying everybody's staying safe, and you as well. Demon says, the Dark Picture anthology, House of Ashes, is set up during the 2003 invasion of Iraq. U.S. armed forces survive the vampiric creatures that infest the area. It's similar to Until Dawn gameplay wise. Okay, dude, you got to put some commas in there, so I know when to pause. I honestly haven't seen that. And yeah, that's another Love, Death, and Robots thing where they actually had werewolves in Iraq, which I thought was pretty cool. Or maybe it was Afghanistan. I don't know. But yeah, that sounds interesting. I have to look that up. Dark Pictures Anthology. Dark Pictures. Okay. Lena says, it's weird that I've seen an anime where Japan is saved from American nukes 2 to 3 times. I would probably have 3 nickels. Oh, where Japan is saved from American nukes 2 to 3 times. Okay. Yeah, nobody really wanted to do that. Believe it or not, the only reason that they said, okay, use the nukes instead of sending the guys in is because those Ruskies were right there. And every battle plan said the same thing. Every outcome said the same thing. We were taking the hard way through, and the Russians would have came in through the north, and they would have captured at least 60% to include Tokyo, and there wouldn't be a Japan or a Japanese culture anymore. They would have just killed everybody, and they would have done things that honestly make me sick. See. Lena says, Ghost in the Shell has 2 different timelines, the movie timeline and the standalone complex timeline. Yeah, I've seen at least, I think I've seen the other one. I never saw the live action movie. I didn't want to. As soon as I saw that she was wearing a bodysuit instead of actually taking her clothes or opening her suit, and the thermal camouflage was actually built into her body, and she looked human as it was built into her body. I mean, I was like, no, you're not sticking with the original material, so go fuck yourself. Let's see. Guard says, TBH, all of this talk about blimps has got me wanting to play Battlefield 1 again. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to wait till after work tomorrow to play it. Yeah. The only thing with those is, again, the military aircraft, they had a weird obsession with stuff that could catch fire. So as soon as those, even if they were full of helium instead of hydrogen, you don't want that, want anything burning while you're up that high in the sky, because they didn't use parachutes at that point. You either came down safely or you came down quickly, period. Guard says, because I have to download it and all its DLCs, $70 for it. And wow, gotta love Christmas deals. Jesus, titty fucking Christ. I don't really pay for games anymore. Of course, I don't have time to play them. Demon says, I love playing Battlefield 1. I'm the ass that just used the artillery truck and snipes people in planes out of the sky. Ha ha ha. Go the entire match without dying. Took me a while to get good at shooting planes. So fun. I'll take your word for it because I haven't got a chance to play it. Now, I do know there was one group, and I don't remember what they were called, but these guys were actual soldiers. And you know this because what they were saying was actual military jargon. And almost all of them took the engineer class that had the mortar. And you didn't run out of mortars, at least that I ever seen when I watched them play. And they were actually on Let's Play. And they would sit there and they go, set, hang it, coordinates, blah, blah, blah. And they're actually giving coordinates to wherever it was. And everybody knew if you're looking at, say, Target Bravo or Beta or Baker, whatever the fuck they want to call it, you know, you got your Baker targets in the center, and everybody knew which section to aim at. And then they're like, you know, hang it, fire. And everyone, they all go up and they land, clear the area. And then you'd hear like either fire 2 or fire for effect. And, you know, just 1, 2, 3, drop them. And then they clear the area. And then the assaulter group was already there. And then they would go in and capture the point. And they were just destroying everybody. And they got kicked off because everybody thought they were cheating. No, it was just very well organized. It's just crazy. Let's see. Sage says, please send me an email if you want additional information or details regarding the Guardian Sage, the Guardian Order, or the Brochette battle cruisers. And I'm probably mispronouncing that. Is that Brochette? Well, with the E at the end, it's got to be Brochette. Or Brochette. Blech. As an Italian, or sorry, French word, and I'm screwing it up. Demon says Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1 are my favorite Battlefield games. Now, if it wasn't so short, the Star Wars Battlefront wouldn't be so bad. Visually speaking and sound quality, it is unbelievably good. The only difference is the game sort of kind of sucks. I mean, it is what it is. It's fun for a few hours, but it's not like Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 1 where you can play like for 3 days and not get bored. But anyways, I can't even play the whole thing now because I got to download the DLC and I haven't even hooked it up to the internet yet. Okay, Leon says people blame GTS live action movie for being bad, but the original animated version wasn't that good either. Plus, they soft remade it 3 years later in CGI. Oh yeah. Trying to. Oh, Ghost in the Shell. Yeah. Look, I just want to. I enjoyed the original, and I just want to stick with the original. That's just me. I won't even watch the CGI version. The only CGI extension on any stories I watch is the Starship Trooper ones because those are very close to the original, especially the way the suits are. And they did it just an excellent job. Just holy fuck, excellent job with those. And I mean, hell, you even see a female trooper, even though that was not a thing in the book, straightforward. You know, hey, guess what? These girls got to get out of their suit every once in a while. Fan service. And anybody who's actually seen it knows a whole bunch of flash of inspiration, which I thought was a funny ass joke. And you're going to a lot of you who haven't seen it, like, what the hell is he talking about? Just go Starship Trooper. I forget which one. I think it was Invasion was that one. And make sure you watch them in order. There's Invasion, there's Ghost of, or Traitor of Mars, and I think there's one more. Not the CGI show. Don't get that confused because that looks like Beast Wars. I mean, it's not a horrible show, but just the CGI is horrible. Let's see. Demon says, oh yeah, life has been super busy. I'm still running behind on the AI civilization. I will send it to you one day. Promise. Okay. Bro. Brochate. Yeah, Brochate. Got it. Hard O, hard A. Okay. Brochate. Got it. I'm going to write here. Bro. Oop. Not Brochat. Brochate. Got it. Ninja Shark saying, I think it's amazing that you have an upload schedule on your live streams on Wednesdays. Well, I try. I missed a few weeks back, but I try. And it looks like we've actually reached the end of our chats here, which is surprising. We've been going for just over 2 hours. And unfortunately, I got to take a break anyway because I think I drank too much of this. Oh, not enough. Just kidding. Anyway, since we got the end of that, and I already went through my notes and everything, and unfortunately, like I said, I won't have anything dropping tonight, but tomorrow I'm sitting down, I'm knocking out, and I'm going to get part 2 of Stray, and I will have a link to the first one, and that's probably going to be about a 2 or 3 part extension, and we'll see if it fully becomes HFY. But trust me, if you read the first one, you're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Or listen to the first one, you're going to be like, oh, geez, this is going to get interesting. But anyway, before I go, safety brief. Folks, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. Also, be careful on the roads, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you don't spend too much time, doing the crazy stuff. Why? Because I want to see you all back here next week. Same time, same channel on Syntext Live. Good night, everybody. You guys are fucking awesome. Have a good night, all. I will see you next week. This is Syntext. ejecting.